Hello there everyone and welcome back. I'm Nick Yacobucci and this is RealScreenReviews.com. Our next film is the horror thriller The Last Exorcism. It opened around the nation on Friday, August 27, 2010, and it stars Patrick Fabian, Ashley Bell, and comes to us from first-time director Daniel Stamm. Now, a few years back, we were brought the amazingly underrated and entertaining The Exorcism of Emily Rose, and now this exorcism film has the unfortunate timing to follow that exceptional piece of horror and drama. How did this newbie director and film do? Well, we'll get back to that. Now, our story centers on a preacher, or a so-called preacher, I should say. The Reverend Cotton Marcus is also the son of another reverend and has been almost born into the family business of being a pastor. He describes to us how his own father groomed him into taking over the reins and just how to go about purging into people's feelings and into their pockets. His father, as well as himself, has performed hundreds of exorcisms throughout the country and having received many letters and emails and requests for them to go and do so. You learn almost right away that Reverend Marcus hasn't completely lost his faith, but he is someone that is struggling very hard to hold on to his beliefs. Now, we are being told this story from the point of view of a documentary-style camera and crew. The Reverend is basically doing this project in order to expose what a hoax exorcisms and reports of possessions are around the nation. He makes it a point to let everyone know that a medical issue for his son was cured, and because of that, he questions the importance of science above his assurances in faith. You know, it's really funny because he doesn't deny the fact that he cannot really perform an exorcism. He does travel to other locations and he does obtain money for his service, but he always reminds us that it is in fact a service, and if someone feels better because of it, then geez, it's got to be okay. You know, he must also feed his family, and this is how he makes a living. He then gets a letter from the Sweetser family that resides from the rural counties of Louisiana. The father, Louis Sweetser, is asking, if not begging, for the help of our phony man of the cloth because he believes that his daughter Nell has been possessed by a dark and evil spirit. Reverend Marcus not only blows this off in laughter when he reads it, when he arrives there, he makes sure to rig the room with his own homemade special effects. He and his documentary staff make the bed crash against the wall and also make pictures bang, all to dramatic effect when he's really preaching and playing the part. However, what Reverend does not expect to find is the meek and humble Nell, who is the absolute picture of kindness and innocence. Nell and her brother, her very, very, very weird brother Caleb, have been homeschooled and are easily a little backward considering their location and isolation from others. Those are just the beginning of the problems for Nell, though. Unlike ordinary people that sleepwalk, Nell also slaughters cattle while doing so, as well as defying gravity and violently attacking other adults. Reverend Marcus conducts his sideshow of an exorcism, but soon realizes that he and the others are dealing with powers far greater than they are accustomed to. Now people, most horror films are either scary or funny, and this is a scary movie. The whole idea of the documentary style just adds a lot of realism to the tale. Just like last year's Paranormal Activity, it plunges you smack dab in the middle of this spooky, intense fear fest. Though it is not as good a film as that one, it does stand on its own as a credible feature nonetheless. The scenes dealing with Nell and the possession had a very genuinely dark feel and coldness to them, and just the entire setting was almost a character all its own. I don't know what it is about the backwoods of America, but there's really truly something scary about it. This unfortunately brings me to the one and only big problem that I had with The Last Exorcism, and that would be the ending. To say that this film ends abruptly would be the understatement of the decade. They were telling us this pretty cool tale, and then it's as if they just ran out of money and said, okay, we're going to end the film right here. This actually worked against the film completely. The filmmakers did leave some clues here and there throughout the story, and I could easily see where this was going, but there were many, many questions that I had that they never even came close to trying to answer. Not to mention that you don't learn the fallout from these events either. At least in Paranormal Activity, they gave you the little paragraph at the end telling you what had happened with these people. At 90 minutes, I wish that The Last Exorcism would have lasted long enough to tell a well-rounded horror film, but this just isn't up to par. You know, this is not a bad movie, but far short of Rob Zombie's Halloween and the movie mentioned at the beginning of the review, The Exorcism of Emily Rose. All I can say is that a great ending would have made this a great movie, but an okay finale just brings this entire project down to an okay feature on the whole. Only 2.5 stars out of 4, and remember people, I'm not always right, only when it comes to the movies. And thank you for your attention.